Okay, so here we go. We're on the other side now, and we're going to talk about personality resistance. Again, we're putting this all together. You can see we're moving out towards the outside, bringing more and more of our essential nature, our true nature, our essential qualities, our natural gifts. We're starting to bring them out to the world. We're starting to now, yes, really start to make a difference. But we've got to get through this barrier. And the barrier, if we think about our acorn, we talk about the acorn theory in our book. We talk about the shell on the outside that kind of needs to be broken open so that you can have a breakthrough rather than a breakdown. The difference between a breakthrough and a breakdown is when you have a breakthrough is that when you have the right kind of village, the right kind of support and mentors and therapists and allies that can really see you and know and hold you as you bust out of the old story, perhaps an old pattern, an addiction, or what have you. And if it's handled well, you can rather than break down, you can actually bust through and get your feet on the ground, get into some new territory, get your roots down so that you can start then to grow up and grow into, all of who you are. So we're going to focus on, yes, you're going to bump into some of the challenges, personality resistance, as we call it. You can call it depression, anxiety. Examples of it are overwhelm, bankruptcy in your, in different channels, like in your work area, or, running into the same conflict over and over and over again in your relationships. It can be anything. It could be cancers. It could be all the way up to, bankruptcy and of course divorce and separation and things like that. So, We've been outlining quite a bit of that, and we talked last time about some of our natural gifts. Again, want to encourage you to have a look at the book or call us, and we can help you with an assessment. We're talking about tying those in with some of our essential qualities. But now we're going to talk about our personality resistances. Now, what are those? We've outlined a few, but really what we have to do is to find a way to work with our personality resistances. And some people would say, well, that's just the shadow, and you've got to be in a battle with that, and here's the shadow, and here's the addiction, and here's the overwhelm, and here's the bankruptcy, and here's the same pattern, and that goes on over and over again. I keep picking up a drink, or being addicted to sexuality, or food, or narcissism, or what have you. And then you need to get over here, to be able to somehow rise above it and be very strong and all the rest of it. But we at the Natural Gift Society think about getting to this, the deepest part of your being, the mystery, the third place. This is like depression, anxiety, overwhelm, heartache, and breakdown, and cancers and whatnot. And then we try to get that breakthrough, and we try to get on top of it. Sometimes we can get pulled back, and then we have to get out, and then we try again the next day, and then we get pulled back in the evening, and then back and forth and back and forth. What we talk about is you are not so much a problem to be solved. It's not that you have to try to get off this track and going back and forth like an elastic, getting buoyed from one side to the other. It's that you need to step into your true nature. The mystery of who you are. Life is a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. And that's what Roka said. I would say that life is a mystery to be, you are a mystery to be embraced, not so much a problem to be solved. Don't get me wrong. We need to work with this. We need to work with getting on top of our game, but we also need to step into that deeper purpose, the mystery of who we are, the gift of who we are. We're already a gift. So you get the picture. We're here talking about personality resistances, and personality resistances are, like I said, anything from addictions, to depressions, overwhelm. These are all got to do with, our own personal self. Overwhelm is, et cetera, et cetera. We can add cancer in there, if you will. So that's got mainly to do with our own resistances, personality resistances with the self. When we're talking about working with others, okay, if I could only spell here, that would be really great. If we're working with others, we can sometimes get into, personality resistances from in relationships, which can be, feeling isolated. We can get into divorce. We can get into a pattern of abuse, with our partner. I mean, we can get into, some very, et cetera, some very challenging times. There's no relational presence. We're not feeling connected. We're feeling unloved and unlovable. Not worthy. Not worthy goes up here, but I'm just outlining a few in this video. And then if we talk about, so that's one area, two area. There's a third area of life, which is called our work area. And we can get into, here the resistances are bankruptcy. We can get into the financial ruin quite easily. We can get into, finding ourselves just in a meaningless path. Like we're just not feeling on purpose at all. We're not in our gift. We're feeling very disconnected from who we are. We're now isolating. This is a meaning, the meaningful life of desperation that so many people have talked about. So, purposelessness, meaninglessness, etc., etc., etc. So, when you think about, I want you to think about the three areas of life. This is one with self, and this is two with others, and this is three with work. We can have personality resistances in all three areas. And what about that? What we found is, as holistic psychotherapists, myself and Dave Waugh essentially, but we've done the research over the years that have shown us that people have to be able to find a way to think about friendship with all of this. I've made quite a mess here of this board, but the idea is that you need to find a way to befriend these symptoms, these challenges that are coming at you. And if they keep coming at you in a repeated fashion, it means that on channel one, of course, that is not right. I'm still struggling with addiction or abusive relationships, or I'm still struggling with my own health and vitality and lack of joy and connection and fullness. But on the other hand, channel two, you want to find a way to befriend all of what comes to you. On channel two, what comes to us belongs to us. In the end, we have to find a way to work with it. Whether it's right or wrong, or whether it was supposed to happen or not supposed to happen is channel one. But what if you decided to work with these symptoms? And this is key for people living with more meaning and prosperity. The map that we're laying out for you is a way for people to live with more meaning and prosperity, is really stepping into that courageous living that people are naturally aligned with and are coded for. So if you're not willing to challenge or lean into and really courageously tackle some of these issues, it's hard because that kind of pulls you down. All that vitality and all that depression and anger and rage and upset and fear and anxiety, it kind of pulls you away from really stepping into a more meaningful and prosperous life. And I'm not saying that this happens overnight, and we would never say that at the Gift Society, but we would say that it is appropriate for you to think about actually moving in and working with and leaning into some of these symptoms, all of these symptoms in any one of these three areas. So that's another part of it, isn't it? The last part is aiming ourselves. The last part of the formula for meaning and prosperity and for our society to be on their gifts and us to having more beauty in the world is that we need to aim ourselves towards a particular meaningful need. And that's in the next video. So see you on the other side. Bye for now.